Welcome to another Motortown video. Today we are back on the main character over here. I want to do a bit more garbage collecting, specifically for the achievement that I'm still missing. The thing is, the stuff doesn't really add up between characters, so while I would rather do this on my server character, in the end it's useless there. I'm far further down the line with this one, so gotta stick to the main one. And the difference here is that for garbage collection, this isn't really the vehicle that you would expect, but I figure that in single player at least, this is a viable option. So we are going to fill this up using the throwing option. Just putting the stuff into the dumper and that should be alright. The thing is, thanks to this not really being the intended vehicle for the job, I'm not getting any blips on here, so yeah, we're gonna have to fly blind for a bit, and I'll just try to remember where all of the garbage sacks are, but yeah, this is going to be likely a very long video. So hang in there, it's gonna take a while. I've done this once already, and it is kind of relaxing in its own way. You definitely have a much higher capacity for trash bags, so you can go around the entire island and maybe even go through Gangyang twice before you really feel like you should be handing the stuff over. And that kind of makes it a bit more relaxed. And also it's just a bit different. I feel like garbage bags are the most grindy stuff for achievements. Needing 5,000 of them when there's only really one vehicle available to get them with and all that stuff, it's the most grindiest part of the game, I would say, if you want to go for achievements. And I mean, honestly, at some point I would like to have them all, so gotta do some stuff. But yeah, mixing it up using a different vehicle and a slightly different tactic, I think that's definitely a good move at this point. I hope we'll also just get another garbage truck and maybe a new mechanic to this eventually. As it is right now, yeah, it's getting a bit sameish. I would be alright with that if it at least accounted for other characters and put all of the garbage bags that I collected on my Steam profile and put them into one for the achievement. I think that would be better, that would make everything a bit nicer here, but as it is, have to stay on the main for it, so that's what we're gonna do here. Also, I would highly suggest you don't try this on a server. Not just because of a potential server load, but I don't even know if it would work at all. There's a very high chance that the bags would just be starting glitching through the dump truck and ending back up on the road. While in single player, it actually feels pretty amazing right now. First time I did this, I thought it would be a glitchy mess, but as you can see, unless I'm really pushing it, the bags are staying where they are, and that's the best that they could be doing at this point. So it's all working pretty nicely. And yeah, another thing I would like to address at this point, recently the videos have been a bit more sparingly. So not really been keeping to a regular upload schedule, although I mean I said in the past that I wasn't trying to keep one. Still, I feel that recently I've been kind of slacking off a bit. But yeah, I don't just want to repeat the same stuff that I've been doing all the time in the past, so yeah, in the end, trying to keep it fresh, trying to do different things. There are only so many things that you can do, and also testing has actually been happening again. So I've been on a version that I can't really make videos on, so that's another reason. Also, I've been trying to not overplay the game too much. It's definitely been something that's helped me in the recent past when things got stressful. But yeah, sometimes you also have to take a break and make sure that you're not overdoing it. I don't want to ever really burn out on the entire thing. Also, isn't it weird that they are just keeping a garbage bag as just basically part of a bus station here? That seems a bit gross. So yeah, I've been doing other stuff, and I don't think Motortown will pick up for me anytime soon in terms of making content. I'm still playing, but a lot of it is just not really what I figure would be good for recording. So yeah, I don't know if... I think there's another bag over there, but first up we are gonna go down here, because there's definitely a few more down in this area. There should be one in the bushes. Ah, there it is. And yeah, I've done this whole garbage collection job that so often that I just know where the bags are. I feel like for the amount of stuff that the game offers you in order to do the whole garbage collection job, this is really the most monotone that you can have. I like it for how different it is compared to the other jobs in the game. Just having to do stuff a bit manually and loading the bags yourself and everything. That's kinda cool, but it's not do it 5,000 times kinda cool. We should probably get the one from the top road over there. So let's see where that one is. I think it should be to the left here. Ah, there it is. And there's another one over there. Hidden behind the garbage can, so I couldn't really see it from back there. But yeah, no bag is left behind unless I completely forget about it, in which case, yeah, that's what it is then. And here we go. Okay, back on this road. I think there should be more over here. Down in that direction. But yeah, testing has been happening, and sadly with this update there have been changes that make it so that rolling back to the live version isn't all that convenient. It resets all my settings because some of the stuff has been added that gives new options in the settings, and the old version of the game therefore doesn't really know what to do with that type of stuff. And with unknown parameters as part of the settings file, you never know how it's going to react. In this case, it seems to just delete the... or not delete, but reset the settings. So yeah, at this point I kind of have two backups. One for rolling back onto the main branch from the testing bound, so that in case I go back to the testing branch and something is missing, I can just fall back onto the save files from there. And I have a separate backup from when I go from the testing version back to the main one. Because having to figure out all your game settings again, that's kind of annoying. Or at least most of it. It definitely kept my controller layout, which I'm happy about, because otherwise having to get that one back would be quite the job. Also, to be clear, the dev always tells us to make sure that we back up our files if we go from one to the other. And especially when it comes to the public testing version, you should also do that, especially for the next one, because I'm pretty sure you're going to have the same problem as I have if you need to swap back and forth between the options or between the versions. My problem, however, it was that basically I made my backup before going onto the testing version the first time. Then I noticed that, yeah, everything is working fine, there are no problems, nothing's missing. And then once I decided to go back onto the main branch, I overwrote the backup with one from the testing branch. Sounds stupid. The reasoning behind that is that if both branches are technically stable, the likelihood that something gets lost when you go from the newer version to the older one, I don't know why that isn't out. Huh? Or it hasn't been taken over by the AI. No cargo space, yeah, you know what, goodbye. I've been using that truck for filling up my lumber mill here anyways, so that should be pretty full at this point. And if it lost the trailer along the way, then I don't really care about fixing that. So yeah, anyways, where was I? So backing up, good idea. Having a backup for both versions of the game, better idea. And yeah, I completely forgot about this garbage bag over here. Whoop. But yeah, right now I have kind of figured it out, and until I get another testing version to look into, I will likely just stay on the main branch anyways. My tactic right now is when the testing version comes out, I just go on there and try to really do condensed testing, so get a lot of stuff tested out as quickly as I can. And then either go back to the main branch after that is over, or play other games for the time being, because once again, kinda still taking a bit of a break. And yeah, so far it worked out pretty well. And there are a few things that actually made me want to stay on the testing version, which is usually the case. There's always something new that I want to play with for a bit longer. But depending on how everything else goes, it kind of depends. Lately I've really been enjoying the Hoki Hoshi server and its community. And I would like to play on that a bit more. Once again, for this job, that wouldn't be a good idea for multiple reasons. But also just there are a few events coming up next Sunday. Looking forward to those. And they also need a bit of testing. I'm finally getting to do my big block rally event with the switchback rallies going all across OG. So that's something that I've been hoping to get for a long time, and yeah, the first version of this was conceived before we even had the event system, and due to how complicated it would be to get everything set up without checkpoints, back then we decided to just not do it, delay the event, and yeah, the delay got a bit annoying at some point. Last time I wanted to get into the whole thing and get the event done. Well, that was basically when my PC broke down, so that was another massive delay. And finally the time is here now. Only for me to realize that the Vista that I've been using for these events doesn't really drive that well anymore on the current version. So I went through a lot of testing with that as well in order to make it a bit more stable. A lot of people swear on using the regular tires, the performance tires for these kind of events. So when you have mixed surface races, but with the majority of the surface being tarmac, a lot of people say that the off-road tires aren't really worth it, and I kinda get that. But for me, the added stability that I get off-road with these tires feels like it's worth it, just because otherwise I would be spinning out multiple times on each off-road section, and yeah, I am going to lose a bit of time on the tarmac parts, but I don't know. I still prefer being able to push it off-road instead of just trying to crawl along and not go front to back, so spinning around or stuff like that, or having a massive crash which could be detrimental to the rest of the rally. Again, this is all an OG, so we don't have any repair stations. And the stages are so long that, at least with the car that I'm driving, I can make it from one to the other without a refueling session or anything like that. That is okay, that does work, but it's close. It couldn't be too much longer than what it is already. Okay, this is going to be real fun at night. I can't see shit. Over the back, doesn't work. You know what? For the sake of a video and my own sanity, let's increase moonlight brightness. That's a lot better. And now it's raining. Come on, game. But it's good that I just updated the moonlight brightness, because otherwise it would be even darker now due to the rain. I mean, high moonlight brightness is also kind of its own vibe. But here we go. I think we are pretty much done with Gang Young now, so it's time to go around the rest of the island. Theoretically, for the sake of this video, I could also cut it short. Maybe we'll do until Jeju City and then just deliver what we have. But I really like seeing the truck load up. And I mean, you can always just skip to the end if you don't want this long video. Maybe I'll make it into a two-parter and the payout will be at the end of that one. I'm not too sure yet. I think for just unreliable my uploads are right now, having multi-part videos would be a better idea than having a single long one. Would also potentially give me some time to think what to talk about in the next video before getting there. But yeah, for me right now, today is Wednesday, and going to have another Hoki Hoshi stream at the end of the day, which I'm looking forward to. And likely also the last bit of event preparations for that. I'm still gonna have to figure out if I can record my run through the Hoki Hoshi event. I would love to do that, potentially also with some commentary, but I don't know yet. If the hosting happens in a way where I don't need to have a stream open, then I'm definitely going to do my own thing in terms of recording. But if I need to listen to what he's saying during the time, then it would be really awkward for the video. I don't mind that for myself, because in the end I can just watch his stream on the second monitor. but you would just be getting my point of view and his commentary to what's happening for him. That's not really something that would really be a good video in my opinion. But yeah, that's also why I haven't made any videos about the sessions. Otherwise, in some cases it would be potentially interesting having my point of view on what's happening during the streams, because I'm also doing some fun stuff doing that. But, well, again, especially for the streams, I'm watching what he's doing and planning ahead according to that, and always making sure that whatever I do doesn't interfere with his stuff too much, even the trolling. So once again, there wouldn't be a way for me to just do my point of view without you getting to hear what is happening on his end without being able to see it. So not really all that ideal. And also sometimes during the streams I'm just sitting around somewhere and chatting. Especially for stuff like the planning phase, I'm just sometimes just trying to give him my input and not really doing anything in-game at that point. So yeah, that's how some of that is going. Also, I've tried making another video today, another one for TXR. You may have seen the hour-long one that I just spent on Google Earth trying to figure out potential new additions to the road network in-game based on the real-life Tokyo Expressway. Which of course the stuff that we have in-game is based on. The thing is, that video being an hour long isn't something that I planned for, and it's not something that I think is too amazing for that kind of video. I mean, there is a lot of sightseeing stuff in there, me just going through different other routes that wouldn't work out but are interesting to talk about, some interesting buildings and landmarks, that kind of thing. But I wanted to make a more condensed version. It still ended up being about 25 minutes, and at this point I don't think that's short enough to justify making a second video about. I feel like if it was more like 15 minutes or so, where I just go through the different potential routes, that would be okay. But 25 at that point, no. Maybe I should have made chapters about the other video and just try to lead people through that, but at this point, yeah. There's no real short way to show this, at least not in the depth that I would like to. So I think it's just gonna be that long video, and that's about it there. So taking in the stuff over here. Oh, there's actually two of them. Nothing to see here, officer. I'm just doing my job. Also, from what I can tell, there aren't really ever any garbage bags over here. Oh no, that's tires. Might as well get them. I mean, why not? Although this is basically a full set, so they might still be usable. And yeah, I'm not here to steal any junk off anybody's lawn. Although I don't really get why that guy just has a forklift over here. Anyways, let's just go on and move over to the next location. And here we go. So the last time I did this, I mean, I'm not counting. I don't think that would really be possible to count in any easy way. Unless I maybe had like a physical clicker or something. I mean, maybe I could do something where I get a counter that reacts every time I hit the spacebar or something, and then try to remember doing that for every bag. But from what I remember the last time, it must have been over 200 that I got in the end. So that means the equivalent of 5 full trips with the Compacti, not including the option to overload and have stuff in the bag there. But yeah, when it comes to getting 5,000 bags in total for the achievement, I think maybe having a mix between runs like these and the more regular ones would be a good solution. And I guess at this point somebody will likely have commented it already. There is a whole another strategy to this, which is going to one of the lamp shops and buying items and then trashing them, because that's what you can do with furniture. And yeah, that does count. Doesn't really make you money because the bags aren't really worth it. They aren't worth the same as regular bags, but it definitely helps get the count up. But I don't really want to do that. Feels a bit weird. With this one, it's at least the real garbage collection and it gives you real money. The other one is just kind of the ultimate shortcut to getting the achievement. Maybe it's something that I'll employ from 2000 bags onwards. But right now, this is kind of the variation on the whole thing that I need for now. And honestly, if it was up to me to redefine the goal, I would have put it to 1,000 bags. I think that's the maximum amount that's reasonable right now. Unless they plan on making some more involved stuff here. Maybe for some of the areas we could have like a collection part, like we have with some of the different warehouses and storage areas. So if we can just bring stuff over there and then with another trip would get whatever we accumulated to its final destination. So maybe Lijo Island, the power plant would only be like a temporary location in order to collect everything and then eventually bring it over to the landfill. And at that point, if the 40 bags that I collect with one Compacti and deliver still count as 40 on the whatever trip I do from there, that would make it much more efficient. But as it is, yeah, I don't know. 5k is just way too much. Come on. There we go. Nice landing. Yeah, let's see if there's anything else going on here. With some of these, I really just have to drive around and have to look out because I'm not entirely sure if there should be more bags around here. Ah, there are a few over there. Did I miss some on the other? Doesn't seem like it. I was looking more for bags closer to the sidewalk. Damn it. So yeah, can't aim up too far, and usually it's an easier deal going in from the back. I'm not throwing it in from the side because that's usually going to be me just throwing it over the truck. So this is really the easiest angle. Oh yeah, something that I still want to make a video on, which I don't think I have so far. I had an idea for making the ultimate tow job collector. which should be a combination between the Golima rotator hooked up with a Lomax trailer. That should work out quite nicely. I think I've done that in the past on the other character, but I don't think I've ever recorded it. So that might be a good one to do at some point as well. Okay, this might just be that one over there. I know there's a few more trash bags around here, but those are static objects. So actual decoration instead of usable anything. Oh, I can grab it. Nice. There we go. I feel like this place should maybe have a few more trash bags. There are a few over there, but I'm pretty sure those are not going to be interactables. Yep. They are static. So not much sense trying to run around this entire place and look for more, because I don't think there are any more. I wonder if those bags were added before they had trash collection figured out. But yeah, let's see. I mean, the whole thing is almost, it's not really halfway full, more like 1/3. Lido City coming up, which is going to be another massive area for bag collection. Then also Seongsan and that industrial area. Plus one more time Gangyang. So there is a lot of stuff to do here. A lot of trash to be collected. Let's go up here first. I know there are a lot of bags around this area. But yeah, I think maybe Jeju will be in the second part of this, and then we'll go from there. Oops. Okay, it seems to be everything for this one. There are a few ones where we actually find a lot of trash bags in one place. Wow, that guy is parked right in the middle of the road. And yeah, when it comes to the rotator work and all of that, I've recently been more focused on other stuff as well, getting the harbor deliveries done, because I eventually would also like to get that achievement for 100 car deliveries done. And they count separately from the other stuff, and I don't really need the Golima for that. But I think with the addition of the Lomax, that's another good example for stuff that got a bit less grindy over time because we got better tools. I mean, the Lomax trailer can hold up to 3 vehicles without too much of a problem. Potentially even more if you find something that has that is like a vehicle transporter in itself or something like that. But yeah, that's definitely a lot less work than doing everything with the rollback, which definitely can only take one, unless we eventually got bikes as delivery vehicles here. I mean, like vehicle deliveries. But yeah, the Lomax, pretty cool for that kind of job. Even though it's still far from ideal because it's basically made for stuff that has more ground clearance than the average vehicle here, but I mean, you gotta work with what you have. And if it's between getting one vehicle to its destination without any scratches, hopefully, or having three that are slightly banked up, yeah, I think at that point I just go with three vehicles because that's still going to be better money. I'm hoping we'll eventually get the tow bar for the rollback. It wouldn't really help with vehicle deliveries from the harbors, but at least we could at that point use it a bit better for regular vehicle recoveries and that kind of deal. Another few trash bags over here. Nice. Yeah, I think I may have forgotten one at another property of mine. Like this one over here. Not going to go back for a single trash bag, who cares? But yeah, there are going to be a few that I miss out here and there, but I think the mess makes it happen here. That was a pathetic throw. Yeah, that was slightly better, but also only barely made it in. Also, one thing to be aware of, if for some reason this whole thing tips over, it's going to be a long cleanup session. Thankfully, the truck here isn't really that top heavy, especially not if basically run empty. And compared to the ores and other bulk cargos that we can haul here, this is basically running it empty. So we should be fine. But yeah, we entered Jeju now, so I think this is a good point to take a bit of a break and split the video in two. I'll be back with the next one where we continue this route and hopefully get the entire truck filled, but you can see this is a bit of an odyssey. So it's going to take a while. But yeah, until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and maybe got an idea on what to do with the dump truck over here and how to potentially also approach the whole garbage job in a slightly different way. I gotta say it's not the biggest difference from the regular trash collection because you're still getting out, you're still throwing it into the bag. But just having it as a bit of a variation and also being able to just go through multiple cities without having to always loop back around to the delivery point. Yeah, it's kinda going well. And don't worry, I have an idea on how to unload this. I have done this before, so this should be okay. Anyways, until next time, I hope you enjoyed. We are going to continue. Until then, have a good one and bye bye.